Hello, everyone. So, hey, in the midst of everything, you must find a place to laugh. To laugh, oh, otherwise, Nigeria matter go keep person. Oh, very cool, very. Eh? Oh, no be small thing. So I'm looking at Mr. Peter Obi's response to Tinubu's address. And then, so this is it, Tinubu. How they call this? They say na Tulumbu. What's the name that they are calling now? Oh, Lord have mercy. Anyway, this is supposed to be a serious matter. I don't even know why I'm laughing so much. It's just so funny. We're just thinking about the whole thing happening in Nigeria and the fact that honestly there's no governance. So if people don't have president, you people are just deceiving yourselves. You just feel like this. Okay. So what I'm just thinking in my head is the fact that there was a leaked speech. The speech that Tinubu was going to read was leaked. The public had it. More than, I think, like 24 hours before it was read. Yet, he still read that thing word for word. As I'm thinking that's the thing that is just running through my head, that is just making me laugh. I'm like, he still read it word for word. But anyway, so Peter Obi responded to Tinubu's address that he did. And this is what Mr. Peter Obi had to say. He shared this or a statement on his X handle, formerly known as Twitter. He said, having led the call for Tinubu to address the nation and respond to the demands of the people, and having listened to the belated speech, I needed to delay my response to see if my understanding of the address was aligned with others. Yeah? So that's all. So remember, Mr. Peter Obi had called on Tinubu to actually talk to protesters and all of that before he finally did that his speech. And then in the statement, Mr. Peter Obi said, I hesitated to respond immediately, as I felt it could have been perceived as another attempt by Peter Obi to sway public opinion, especially since I was initially accused of sponsoring the protest. Now, with all the things that have been happening, you understand, you could see why they were so desperate for them to be able to attach and say that Mr. Peter Obi is the one that sponsored, protests and all of that. Hunger was the main protest, and suffering was the main sponsor of that particular protest. And he continued, however, I must begin by thanking, he said, the president. For me, I don't have a president, an illegitimate president. So he started by thanking Tinubu for finally addressing the people, albeit belatedly, which might have prevented the unnecessary loss of innocent lives, including those of our security agents. Security agents, it's not them that kill themselves. The security agent that died. It's not the one that the police themselves mistakenly went to now start killing. But anyway, it's still part of the loss of life. While I had hoped that in consoling the families of those who lost their loved ones in the protest, he would also show some empathy towards those who were injured, arrested, and detained due to the overzealous and unprofessional conduct of some security operatives. This was unfortunately not the case. It is the responsibility of the government to identify criminal elements attempting to disrupt the protest through looting and other unlawful behaviors, and to protect those genuinely exercising their democratic rights. Nigeria must embrace all tenets of democracy, including the right to protest, without selective adherence. I also appreciate his condemnation of the ethnic bigotry being propagated by some individuals against other ethnic groups. However, I had hoped for more decisive actions, such as the immediate arrest and prosecution of those responsible, to demonstrate that such intolerance will not be tolerated in today's Nigeria. Tinubu's address, he says the president's address, but for me, I'm going to put Tinubu there. Tinubu's address regrettably appeared disconnected from the harsh realities faced by the people and failed to address critical issues that initially triggered the protest. It either reflects a lack of awareness among his advisors regarding the scale of anger, hunger, and hardship in the country, or a deliberate choice to disregard it. At this point, I strongly advise the president, that's what Mr. Peter Obi put in a statement. I would put that, for me, that's an illegitimate president, to distance himself from sycophants and surround himself with individuals who will present the unvarnished truth. Hey, okay, nah. It's like telling a leopard to remove his skin. How will that happen? Does Tinubu look like somebody that wants the truth? This one thing I keep saying, one thing in my life here, and I keep saying this to everyone: when people show you who they are, believe them. When somebody shows you who he is, believe him. When somebody shows him who he is or who she is, believe him or her. Don't sit down and start trying to make, okay, there's nothing. Okay. What did why Tinubu's speech focus on the past? The people are concerned with the present and the future. He should begin by addressing pressing issues such as the exorbitant cost of governance, measures to tackle corruption, the high cost of living, and directing resources effectively towards critical areas like health, education, and poverty alleviation. I respectfully reiterate that Tinubu should declare a war on insecurity, the economy, poverty, unemployment, and the power sector. So wherever you see me put Tinubu, Mr. Peter Obi had put president there, so I will use Tinubu there, because he's not my president. Persistent issues of corruption and mismanagement of public funds must be addressed decisively, as is done in other nations during such times. Regular briefings, whether quarterly or biannually, from Tinubu are essential to clearly communicate the visible and verifiable measures being taken to revive the nation from its current state of hopelessness, restore hope, and rebuild trust in our country. I also humbly request that Tinubu reduce the repetition of how dire the situation is. Every Nigerian is already aware of the extent of the problems. Tinubu, you and your team were elected not just to witness the protest, but to alleviate the suffering of the people. He wasn't elected. Tinubu was not elected. Tinubu rigged his way into office. Nigerians do not expect Tinubu to solve the nation's problem overnight, but we do expect a concerted effort to address the mismanagement of public resources, reduce the high cost of governance, and tackle issues like insecurity, corruption, electricity, agriculture, and productivity to set the country on a path to recovery and growth. By doing so, the Tinubu can restore hope and rekindle the people's faith in our dear country, Nigeria. A new Nigeria is possible. Sign Peter Obi, meaning that Peter Obi, is the one that signed off on this statement. And you can see from the way this statement has gone, it's not just to say, okay, this is what your statement has been about. This is what is expected of you. To also proffer solutions. Because people always say, oh, they're always criticizing, they don't proffer solutions. Even when they proffer solutions, they will not listen. I mean, this is something that really goes along, telling you A, B, C, D. These are some of the things that you can do. Because even with this protest going on, there are immediate measures that would have happened. If I was a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and this kind of situation happened, what stops me from immediately embarking on a regional tour, meeting with people, having town hall meetings? I hear you. Even before why will I even allow protests to start? As soon as by the time they were giving that warning, it's to come. Okay, let's sit down. What can we do? Let's come and meet. What is the problem? Yeah, this is what we are doing. This is how we are doing. Bring them in. What are the things that you think we should do to make these things better? Simple as ABCD. Provide good governance. Nigerians didn't say that, oh, they expected someone to get into office and immediately fix everything. But not the one that you are rubbing it in their faces. You're spending money anyhow. Governors are spending money anyhow. I can't even remember. I read, I've even forgotten the state where they spend like how many billions on kitchen utensils, furniture. You see some school. It's you know, the audacity with which you can see monies are being stolen, it's almost unbelievable. And there's this disrespect for Nigerians. If the way Tinubu, for someone who rigged election, right, you would expect that he would have been working. Well, nobody really goes through all of that to come and work anyway. They have their own agenda that they want to do. But even if they had given Nigerians, good governance, people would have been saying, even though he rigged, he's working now. You know that kind. Trust Nigerians. Any small thing, Nigerians are the set of, in short, they are citizens you can easily please. They can be saying, just leave it now, all of that. But you come in less than 1 year, you are worse than Buhari. Even if na curse, then curse person, the person no go on curse himself here.